Hi, everybody. Welcome to our show. We are the MassHire North Central Workforce Board, and we are here today to talk to you about positive workplace relationships. My name is Jeff Roberge. I'm the Executive Director at the MassHire North Central Workforce Board, and sitting next to me.
My name is Anthony Wilson, and I am Program Coordinator for MassHire North Central Workforce Board, and it is a pleasure and an honor to engage with you young people that are going to be our future workforce. And we want to make sure that you have all the necessary tools to be successful on your future endeavors and your employment desires.
So before we jump into our presentation, for you guys watching for the first time, just to give you a quick, the Workforce Board, we're located in Leominster at Erdman Way. We oversee all of the workforce training and programs available to you as high school students getting into the workforce. We work a lot with our employers in the region, making sure that we are preparing people to fill all those open positions that are open right now. And we work with our community colleges, our state universities, just aligning all of our workforce system here in North Central. We also oversee the operations at the Career Center in Erdman Way. So as you get into the workforce and you're looking to connect with a career counselor, you can do so at the Career Center. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into our presentation. So, Anthony,
absolutely.
Take it away.
So we have a PowerPoint prepared, and so we're going to run this. Hopefully, it agrees with us. All right, and I'll do from the beginning. So, like we said, we are from the Workforce Board. Let me minimize this. This is recording. Boom. All righty. So we want to talk about dealing with difficult people, If you don't know any difficult people in your life, well, surprise, surprise, you might be the difficult person. But most of us know difficult people. And we want to make sure that you have the tools and the skills necessary to be able to help navigate some of the difficult people that you might work with, whether it's a boss or a coworker or even a customer. And so let's jump through this. So actually, before we do that, Jeff, thinking about this, people who are successful, what is everyone who's successful is a master at doing this skill set? What is this?
First, in general, people that are successful in life have a very good understanding of identifying, various personalities of people they're going to come across. And people that are successful in the workplace learn the skills necessary to be able to identify how to best communicate with people, how to resolve problems, how to assert yourself in a positive way, and ultimately in the workplace contribute to a healthy and happy workplace as a whole. So when you're successful, you adopt those skills, you learn how to utilize those skills, you recognize that you're going to come across a lot of different people in your work life, but if you are able to communicate effectively, resolve issues effectively, and contribute to a healthy and happy workplace, you will be successful in the workforce.
Absolutely. Everybody that we look up to and admire, they didn't get there just because the road was easy. The road was really difficult, and they have an amazing ability to deal with difficult people. The ability to deal with difficult people is a key ingredient to the recipe of success. So we want to make sure that you know that recipe. I first want to talk about just some different ways in which we might deal or engage with difficult people on our jobs. So I define it by friction. We friction in several different ways. This first one is like two objects going the opposite direction. Oftentimes when people think of friction or difficult people, they think of just two people going in the complete opposite directions. There's really no unity involved, and obviously there's going to be some issues there. But that's just one of the ways, or one of the types of scenarios that you might be facing. There's actually more ways of friction or difficult people you will engage with on the job. This next one, oftentimes people might agree on the direction, like going towards the same goal. They just might have a different way of achieving that same goal. And I find that to be true. Oftentimes when you work with somebody, you both want to complete the job and the task. You want it to get done. You want to get done well. You just might have a different opinion or a different personality that might make you look at come with different solutions.
And I will say that's a very common type of friction that occurs in the workplace. Very often you're given an assignment by a supervisor. the business itself has a very honed in direction, a strategic plan of how they need to accomplish their goals. But again, you have two different people or people in general coming at the accomplishment of that goal in a different way, and that's where that friction occurs.
Thank you.
Yep.
And this is another way that causes friction is two people that are going in the same direction, just one's moving faster than the other. And also acknowledging that often takes place at work, in which you might have a coworker that they might be a little slower than you, or might take a longer time to kind of see things the way that you see things, but that causes friction. You can work with those people. You just got to be patient and make sure that you either need to slow down in the direction, you both go in the same direction, just one's moving a little faster than the other.
Exactly, and I can say from a supervisory standpoint as well, it's very important if you find yourself in a supervisory role, that you may have received direction from a board, an outside entity, and you as a supervisor have to implement that goal or that strategy. You may have been working on that outside of your role at your workplace in moving things forward. You've now introduced that information to your staff who are learning it or hearing about it for the first time. And it's extremely important that you recognize that you cannot be frustrated and waiting for people to catch up. There, as Anthony mentioned, patience, understanding, explanation are very important skill sets you need to have when friction is caused by people moving at different speeds.
So from this book, it's called Employee Success Toolkit. It has 13 different lessons, and one of the lessons that it covers is dealing with difficult people. And I was reading this, I actually enjoyed how the book framed and described difficult people that you will engage with on the job. So instead of just me saying that I made this up, this is actually something that helped inspire me and tools that I've added to my toolbox that allowed me to be successful in the work that I currently have. So there are 5 different types of difficult people, and you see them popping up on your screen right now. They're cranky, aggressive, sniper, complainers, and silent types. So we'll briefly look at each type and give you information on how to deal with them.
Let's jump right in.
Jump right in. So actually, I'll skip that quote. So cranky people, they're basically just unfriendly individuals. We all know those types of people. So some people might be cranky on the job. It can be an employee, it could be a boss, it could be a coworker, might even bump into some cranky customers. And so there's some people that they do this purposefully because it helps them get their own way. They actually realize being abrasive.
The behavior.
Yeah. So being abrasive or being unfriendly is a way to intimidate other people and help them get their own way.
Right.
So once you realize that someone's just generally unfriendly, what do you do with that? Well, you first have to try to determine whether or not this person is actually unfriendly because you did something or just their natural personality. Most of the time, it's actually that person's personality. Don't take that person's crankiness or unfriendliness as something personal
attack, right?
It's not a personal attack. It's something that usually is on their own. There are some times in which you might have a boss who is cranky because either you didn't do a task the right way, but if you're honestly evaluating yourself and your own performance throughout the day, then you should have some proper grips on reality and saying, okay, the person,
some insight to that, right? Exactly.
So a couple things you can do in dealing with a person who's cranky. You don't need to remain silent, but agree with the cranky person to the extent of which their statements or feelings are true. But otherwise, you can say, hey, can you talk to me in a calmer voice? Or you don't need to have that combative type of interaction with that person.
The goal is not to escalate. It's not to match the cranky person's behavior. You want the tools necessary, and it says on the screen right here, utilizing a neutral tone in your voice, being respectful in a response. But you don't need to be, back down when a cranky person is interacting.
You don't need to match their energy. And sometimes I think people think, oh, I need to get right back. You don't. This next one is aggressive people. These are dominating people. Now, these are individuals that they've learned that being overly aggressive is able to help control other people's behaviors.
They get a reward from it.
In either way that you react to them, if you run away, that's what they want. If you fight back, that's what they want as well. So they've learned that fighting for them is a way to accomplish their goals. How do you deal with those types of individuals?
Let's see.
All right, well, you can stand up to a person without fighting them, because reality is it takes two people to have a fight. And people who are these overly aggressive individuals or dominating individuals, they thrive off of having a fight with you. I will say in working with aggressive people that if you do stand up to them, that actually earns their respect. It shows to them that you're not going to be intimidated. You're actually not going to move out of their way. But if you stand firm on your skill sets and your abilities on the job, they'll end up respecting you for it. So another one is you can disagree with these individuals. You can stand firm. And also remember, it takes two to fight. So just don't engage necessarily in the fighting aspect.
Escalate.
But stand firm, hold your ground, and realize that eventually they'll run out of steam, especially if you do your job correctly and keep on performing well. Any negative complaints that they might have about you won't be legitimate. They won't hold any water. So these are my favorite people, subtle snipers. These are passive aggressive individuals. Want to talk about these people?
Yes, let's absolutely talk about these people. These are people, you know, as you see on the screen, humorous put downs, sarcastic tones of voice, disapproving looks and innuendos, you know, that passive aggressive co-worker or boss that is in many ways the type of confrontation. It's non-confrontational. It's a mystery. It's hidden. It's covert.
So it's like almost giving backhanded compliments with this humorous put downs. Hey, I really like the way that you gave that presentation the other day, or hey, that project you turned in, that was a real doozy.
Yeah, I was really surprised you were able to pull it off.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know you were that smart.
Yeah, exactly. I would have thought that you wouldn't have been able to get through it. A great job.
These types of people, they are, if you've ever played, goodness gracious, what are these? Fortnite, these people who camp and they shoot from far distances, they don't want to actually be in the fight, but they want to take, you know, these subtle snipers, shots from a distance. And once you're able to engage with those people, they often back down quickly. You will see these types of people on the job. And how to deal with them? Well, you can respond to the person and says, hey, that sounds like you're making fun of me. Or what did you mean by that statement? And usually the response is denial. Oh, come on. It was only a joke. I didn't mean it. It was just a joke. Are you serious?
Yeah.
So they won't actually hold firm to the things that they were saying. They'll quickly backpedal because the reality is they don't want to have that type of engagement. You will see these types of people on the job, I guarantee it.
And I guarantee that if you address it, it will stop.
Absolutely.
Because ultimately they are not looking for ongoing interaction. They're not the aggressive type. They're not, you know, but you know, if you make them aware that you and acknowledge the fact that you're feeling a certain way about their comment or statement to you, they will back down.
All right, complainers. These are my least liked people. So these are people, in actuality, complainers, they're fearful. They have little faith in themselves and their capabilities, and have little faith in others and their ability to do this. You might hear people that are on the job, they're always complaining, like, do I have to do this? Or, this is stupid. Why are we doing this?
We did this 10 years ago. This is the same thing we used to do. You know, it's a different way, but we did this a year ago. It's the same thing. Those kinds of things.
I don't want to do this. So these people that are complainers, they're always bringing the team down. They're always negative Nancy's on the job, and no one likes negativity. Ultimately, these are fearful people. And how do you deal with a complainer? Well, don't try to argue them out of their own negativity. You respond to them with your own optimistic expectations. When I'm around complainers, say, hey, I hear you, but I'm going to do well. I'm going to win. I'm going to succeed at this. The project's going to be fine. It's going to get done on time. It's going to have a great turnout. Whatever the task that you're working on, you're going to say, I'm going to get it done in time.
Right.
So, and that actually stops the complainer. And once the complainer sees you winning, because we all want you to win, life's a competition. Are you winning?
Right.
All right. Then once they see you win, they're going to want a piece of it.
And like we said at the beginning of this presentation, you know, what makes for a successful worker throughout your career? You contribute to a positive, happy, healthy workplace. And this is an example of how you can do that.
What the most positive person I've ever met, this guy named Randy Watson.
Unbelievable guy.
Unbelievable guy. You know,
Yeah, so this was a guy that, you know, we both know very well,
Yeah.
that, you know, really had to perform when I don't think the people that saw him wanted him to perform or be as successful as he was. So
but his message, he believes in the children of the future. So
always
that's what we're trying to do, get you ready so you can lead the way.
look out for Randy Watson.
So last people we want to talk about, silent people. These people are timid. They're kind of like turtles. They want to retreat for their shell. Some people, another word for them, they're just disengaged. They're not a part of the process. They're not real active teammates, members of the team, members of the tasks that you're doing. So how do you deal with people that are disengaged? Well, you can try to pull them out of their shell. All right, you want to try to pull them out of their shell. You can ask them questions that can't be answered with just yes or no. All right, these people might be, that's part of the slow burn. You might want to give them a little bit longer of a time. But I will say the same thing with like silent people and those the other fearful people we spoke of. Once they start seeing some success, they will want to play a part of it. But you will have people on your team that they're disengaged. They don't want to be a part of the process. And you might have to, they're expecting for you to pull your own weight. But if you engage with these people, you know, pull them out of their shell, say, hey, you need to come out. You need to step up to this. You need to participate and do this, pull your own weight on this boat or on this team. So good. All right. So we're going to summarize this, and then we're going to jump into some scenarios to talk about our own experience on the workplace. So once you stop, these are some things that you can, the don'ts that you can remember. So don't take a difficult person's behavior personally. Remember, it's not about you and it's not about now. So many young people that I've worked with over the years, and they'll have a difficult situation come up and they think it's as if they're the root of all of it. No, it's not personal. Don't take someone else's attitude personal. When you leave that office or you leave your workplace, unplug from it. Don't internalize all that stress.
Exactly.
Jump on some of these other ones.
Key one here, the third one down. Don't try and beat them at their own game. And you know it's an escalation.
Mm-hmm.
It is a challenge. That is not something that ultimately is going to benefit you as you try to portray a positive image in the workplace. And there is no winner. The one up, you know, trying to beat someone with their own game, it won't end. So do not get involved in a competition or a one-up scenario or trying to beat somebody at their own game. It's a challenging behavior. You represent yourself positively in the workplace. You let your work speak for itself, and you engage people in a way that draws them out and creates a harmonious environment, and you will be successful.
Yeah, don't try to beat them at their own game. Think of outclassing them. Just outperform them. And your work will speak for itself and separate you from these difficult people. And people that navigate difficult situations, they always end up on top. So,
exactly.
I like this last one, is that don't try to change the difficult person. You know, if you focus on making yourself.
It's not your job in the workplace. It's not you know, it's a waste of energy. You know, if you're spending more time trying to change someone's behavior or modify someone's behavior or change, that's not, you don't gain anything.
It's taking resources and time from you from doing your own job. But I will say this, many of you watching this, you might end up being a manager or a supervisor, and you will have to now manage people's difficult behaviors on that.
Correct. But in most cases, you're given tools as a supervisor that you can utilize that are objective and supportive. And as you become a supervisor, you're provided with additional training on how to manage a positive workplace. So you will be given the opportunity to learn those skills as you develop as a supervisor.
Thank you. So we have some scenarios. In fact, I don't want to do this one. Let's think about this one. So we have some scenarios to think of. Now, I guarantee you, as you work, you might have certain people talk negatively about you or behind your back. This was just
That's a
a,
very common thing that happens in the workplace.
so Jessica has heard some outrageous rumors about herself at work. Jessica thinks she has traced the source of the rumors to an aggressive coworker, but is not 100% sure if the person she suspects is the culprit. Now, this is some twists in it. So we
It
talked
has a
about
twist.
those aggressive people, they're looking for the fight.
Right.
But so for you, if you heard somebody was spreading some rumors about you at work, or even, for these are some students, they probably have to deal with this at school. So for you, what would you do? Now you're a supervisor. I don't know, try to give us insight on both sides.
So you're putting me on the spot on this one. The rumor mill in the work or the school place is something that we've all had to deal with. I think it's important that, and in this particular scenario, Jessica is not 100% sure that this particular person is the one who was spreading the rumors. I think if Jessica is not the supervisor, she should first access the support of a supervisor and let the supervisor know that this is what's maybe happening in the workplace, and find it and work with her supervisor on how to address it. What Jessica does not want to do is get immediately confrontational with this particular coworker.
Absolutely.
Engaging that person, speaking directly to that person, being accusatory. I think in any workplace, and these situations happen every single day. Every workplace has various procedures and policies around appropriate workplace behavior. And the first step that Jessica should do is seek out her supervisor in a private meeting and have a conversation with the supervisor about what's happening at work. And allow the process that the company has designed around addressing and handling co-worker relations be put into effect. The minute that Jessica or you as someone who's watching this right now engages in any type of behavior towards another coworker, you've put yourself in that same position as far as any type of workplace discipline there would be for the person who may or may not have started rumors.
I think that's great advice. And so many young people, they kind of have this saying, like, don't snitch, so don't go and tell them the supervisor, don't snitch on me. But this is, a workplace isn't your gymnasium. It's not snitching. There's certain laws that are put in place, certain systems that are put in place on the workplace to prevent harassment, to prevent defamatory statements. And that's what
hostile work environment. There's all types of very strict and procedures that a workplace must hold true to ensure that a workplace is equitable, that it's safe, that it's healthy, that it's respectful.
Yeah.
And yes, especially I think in your younger years, it's about, manning up, or I'm not gonna let somebody talk to me, or, you may not particularly like this person anyway, so this is a reason to sort of engage. If you want to be successful in the workplace, there are behaviors and things that you must adhere to. And there are supports around that, and the business is responsible to support you as the employee. It's not snitching. It's not snitching.
100%. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Some young people, you need to hear this. Let's see. Let's do this one and then one more.
Sure.
Do you want to?
Sure.
All right. So
So
Tony,
I'm going to read this
Ooh.
one. And
oh man, you got me.
Here we go.
You got me.
All right. So here's a scenario. Tony and Sam have been assigned a project from their boss. Sam is very negative and is always complaining of how hard the job is and how they will never get it done. What can Tony do?
Well, as we saw from the other bits of information, Tony shouldn't have to try to convince Sam and try to change his mind. Oh, Tony can actually fuel Sam's behavior by Tony's own upbeat personality, thinking that, okay, no, we are going to get this done. This is our job. We're going to complete our task. And I'm telling you, winning is contagious. Success is contagious. And Tony needs to focus on completing the task, speaking positively, not trying to convince Sam that he has to get on board, but Tony needs to lead, and that's tough. I've been in group situations in which one person in the group is not pulling their weight. I'm pretty sure we all have.
Yeah.
But the reality is this, at the end of the day, stuff needs to get done. So also for the person's complaining, as we said, that person is complaining or negative because they're fearful that it won't turn out the way that they want, or they don't have
fearful of their own skill set, feel that the project won't be
inadequacies.
whatever it may be.
So
I think when you assume a leadership role in a scenario like this, and set the tone, two things happen. In many cases, the project is successfully completed.
Yeah.
There's an acknowledgement from an outside source around the completion of that project. You've also modeled a certain type of behavior that has then awarded success. And the goal is through this process, and in this particular case, Sam will either recognize that initially and modify his own behavior because he sees the reward value in it, right? Or not. But you as Tony, or in any scenario, you are again working towards your own individualized growth as a successful employee. So there's no downside to this. There's no, buy into the negative. What happens?
it makes both of you look bad.
Right,
It makes
what happens?
both of you
What happens?
failures. And so I think of it like this. You can either be a thermostat or a thermometer. A thermometer just says what the temperature is. A thermostat sets the temperature. And in this situation, Sam, he's as cold as can be. Tony, he can bring the heat up and make this a success. So what do you want to be, a thermostat or a thermometer?
That's incredible.
Yeah, what can I say? I learned it from our buddy, Randy Watson.
See,
He's an inspiration to us all.
That's a great one. I'll thank Randy for that.
When I see him. This the one? Nope. All right, think about this one. This is about credit.
Okay.
We can both answer this.
Sure,
one.
let's both do it.
Do you want to read it?
I'll read it.
All right.
So you're an employee, you're employed at a restaurant. You're always thinking of new menu items, new ways to get more customers. You mention your ideas to several coworkers. One of them takes your idea, takes credit for it, and then gets a promotion, claiming your idea as their own. What would you do?
It's cold.
That's rough.
Yeah,
That's rough. It happens.
So issue of getting credit for something that was your idea. That could have been your promotion. You will see this happen, not like to this extent at work, but you'll see people that you work with, you'll come up with a good idea and they'll adopt your idea or co-opt your idea and implement it, and then receive some of the credit for it or all of the credit for it. So what?
I think in this particular case too, if you were committed to this occupation or this job, again, there is no reason why in a private setting you can't have a conversation with a supervisor at an appropriate time about this particular issue. It's not snitching. It's about how you communicate that information to a supervisor. But I think, it's about standing up for yourself as well. And I think it's about doing it in an appropriate way. If you are somebody who has worked hard on or conceptualized something, there's no reason why, whether it has to do with changing the outcome of someone else receiving a promotion, that you can't have a conversation with a supervisor about your contribution to the business.
Yeah. And making that clear, not like
It's not a tattletale thing. It's you're not going in there, well, it was my, again, it's extremely important about how you are able to professionally assert yourself so that people are aware of your commitment to your job and the acknowledgement that you are proud of the work you do. It doesn't have to be where you complain or want to rat somebody out. It's more about presenting yourself. Dear, I just want to make you aware. It's my understanding recently that someone said, here's the situation. I would like to take a couple minutes to tell you about how, some of the ideas that I thought about. I want you to be aware that these are things that are important. You talk to your employer, talk to your supervisor about it.
Yeah, talk to your supervisor about it, as Jeff was saying, in a professional way. That doesn't sound like you're complaining, but it's showing the employer that you're a creative type, you have good ideas, and your ideas that have already been rewarded, if you have other ones, should be acknowledged by the company. Also, even talking to the individual who might have stolen your idea, say, hey, can we just talk about this a little bit? Also trying to figure out if was an intentional theft, or was it just they maybe said what you said, but said it louder than you did? Was it trying to actually steal your idea, or was it during a team setting, in which oftentimes in team settings, you throw ideas as a team, and not any single idea is owned by the individual when you're having some of these team brainstormings, because you're feeding off of each other.
Right.
You're feeding off of each other. And I want to say this is that if you are a creative person that comes up with all these ideas, and you're always trying to figure out ways to improve the company, if your company that you're currently a part of doesn't value that, and doesn't acknowledge that, there will be another company down the road that will acknowledge your skill set and your creativity. And they'll say, all right, this is a person that can contribute to the business and grow and have forward-thinking ideas in being progressive. So just throwing that out there. I'm actually cut this portion of it so we can
wrap up a little bit.
See ourselves. So
themes of today. I think for us in the work that we do, and some of the message we want to convey today in today's presentation, is that the goal is to be successful in your work as you build your career. And I think themes like engaging in a positive atmosphere, promoting a positive environment, using effective communication skills, resolving conflict in a positive way, and like you described through this presentation, having a working knowledge of the different types of personalities that you are most likely going to come across in the workplace, and develop your own strategies on how to work with those people, because we have to.
We have to. If you're going to be successful, you have to know how to navigate difficult people in difficult situations. Those people who've achieved and made it to the top, they didn't do it because the road was paved flat for them. They did it because they overcame all different types of hurdles and obstacles. And so hopefully this was something that will help you, and so you can put that tool in your toolbox. And we wish you all the best and the most success. So
I want to just say thank you for joining us today. Thanks to our good friend Randy Watson, who gave us some great ideas for the presentation today.
Children of the future. If you teach them well, you can let them lead the way.
Thank you all. You all have a great afternoon. Take care.